Hi, so I'm going to show you how to make chicken croquettes, and this is a very old recipe dating back to the 19th century, the one I'm going to make today. But chicken croquettes, date back even further than that, and basically it's minced meat, the chicken meat, and all recipes are pretty similar, but you just really have to create a white sauce with milk, maybe broth. Some of them use broth, but definitely flour, butter, and then spices. And then you bring the meat together, form it into little balls after it soaks in this white sauce, and then dredge it in breadcrumbs and fry it. And so it's very simple and, like I said, perfect for your holiday table as either an appetizer or you can have it as the main dish as well. So just to show you, to get started here, my ingredients. So I have some here's the minced chicken. I actually had put this in my food processor, and that way you don't have to chop it up by hand. And then here's the oil I'm going to use to fry it. And I actually used a combination of milk and cream together, just because I feel like the cream kind of thickens it up a little bit more. And then I have mace and some red pepper. So here's the red pepper, cayenne pepper, and mace. It looks like this ground up. And basically it's just the outside of a nutmeg. And they look like little leaves. So just to show you, this is what the blades of mace look like. So I couldn't get it open, and now I did. So let's move on to what you need to do first is take the milk. And I have about a cup here. Really, it's going to vary. The recipe calls for more because there's more chicken. I'm not doing that much chicken, so I'm just going to use a cup of milk. And I'm going to come over to my stove here, and I have my pot. I'm going to put the milk in, and I just want to, I will need to boil the milk so it thickens up, and then I'm going to add the flour and butter together and then really stir it to make a white sauce. Now the milk is boiling. Let me see if I can kind of show you. It's like bubbling, boiling up. So I want to add, I have a tablespoon of flour and some butter here that I'm going to add to the pot on the stove and thicken it up a little bit more. Now the sauce is nice and thick, and I'm going to add the chicken. But first I wanted to add these spices, the mace and the red pepper together. So I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to add them to the pot on the stove over here. And so just so you see, it's there on the stove. And I'm just going to stir it a little bit. And now we just want it to, we need to let it cool a little bit before we dredge it into the breadcrumbs and form into the little croquette shapes. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to form the croquettes into the little shape that we'll need to fry them. But first we need to dredge them in the breadcrumbs. So I use these panko breadcrumbs, but feel free to use any kind of breadcrumb. You can use cracker crumbs. I often make my own too. I had these on hand, and they do seem to really work well for frying recipes, the panko breadcrumbs. So this is the chicken, what it looked like. I chilled it a little. It seems to come together a little better that way. And you just form it into a little shape in your hand, and it can be just a ball shape or however you want. And then you just dredge it into the breadcrumbs. And I'm going to keep it over here for now. And I'm going to keep doing that with the rest of them, rest of the chicken, and then I will go over and fry them up. So I have my first set of croquettes here ready to go. And over here on the stove, I have a cast iron pan I poured some of the canola oil in. So it's getting nice and hot. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting the croquettes in. It's going to sizzle, I'm guessing, so let's see what happens. So I'm going to go over here. You can see. There we go. And you don't want to put too many in at a time because you don't want them to crowd in the oil. So that's very important too. So I think I'll just start with that amount. And then you just fry them, you know, and, you know, wait till they get brown on one side and then turn them over. And then we'll see what they look like when they're done. You can probably hear them sizzling behind me, and they definitely are. But I'm about ready to take the croquettes out, and then you can see what they look like when they're done. Definitely be careful with the oil. It gets very hot and it pops up. You can even kind of see it spraying up a little. So definitely be careful with that. And let's go over here and see. I'm going to go ahead and take them out. Bring them over. And so I put them on a paper towel just to drain them because of all the oil. And this is what they look like. They're definitely nice and brown on one side, well, on all sides. And they look great. And like I said, you could use them as an appetizer with a little toothpick in there, you know, with some kind of dip or something, or just have them as a main course. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe for chicken croquettes, and have a wonderful day.